Hi, this is Gautam Adarsh. In previous class, we have started the second lesson of Geography 6th class Ncert book, that is Globe, Latitudes and Longitudes. In this class, we are going to continue this lesson. Okay. In the previous class, we have learned about globe, what is a globe, and what are latitudes and what are longitudes. Now in this video, we are going to learn the important latitudes and longitudes. Okay. Now if you see here, let's think this is a globe and these are the important latitudes and these are the important longitudes. Now what are latitudes? The imaginary horizontal lines are called as latitudes and longitudes are imaginary vertical lines. Now let's see some important latitudes. First, this is equator. Equator is of 0 degrees because this is the middle line of the earth. Middle longitude. This is the important longitude because this equator divides the earth into two equal parts. How many? Two equal parts. Now here, this is the North Pole. What is North Pole? The pole, the last point on the surface of earth in the north side is known as North Pole and this is South Pole. Now from equator to North Pole we call it as Northern Hemisphere, and from equator to South Pole we call it as Southern Hemisphere. Okay, now above equator, that is north to the equator, we see Tropic of Cancer. Okay, Tropic of Cancer, which is of 23.5 degrees north. Why north? Because it is north to the equator. 23.5 degrees north. Now we will denote this as 23 degrees 30 minutes north. And there is another important latitude, south to equator. Now this is north because it's north to the equator. Now this Tropic of Capricorn, which is south to the equator, it's of 23 degrees 30 minutes south. Why south? Because it is in the south side of equator. Okay, if you see here, these two latitudes are important because they decide the temperature and seasons also of the earth. Okay, these two are important, and from here there will be a different change in the climate. Okay, if you see, there will be difference in the temperature. Now there is another important latitudes above the equator, which we call it as this latitudes, which we call it as Arctic Circle. Arctic Circle. Okay. Now Arctic Circle is of 62.5 degrees north. Okay, 62.5 degrees north. Sorry, not 62, it's 66.5. 66.5 degrees north. And Antarctic Circle, which is south to the equator. We call this is 66.5 degrees south. Okay, means here 66 degrees 30 minutes 0 seconds north, south, and this is 66 degrees 30 minutes 0 seconds north. Okay, now Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle also important due to these things. Okay, now let's see these latitudes from which countries they pass. First, Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degrees north. Tropic of Cancer passes through North America, Africa and Asia continents. North America, Africa and Asia continents. Now they pass through these countries. Let's see the countries through which they pass. Algeria, Niger, Libya, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, India, Bangladesh, China, Myanmar, Taiwan, Mexico, Bahamas, Mauritania, Mali and Algeria. Sorry, Algeria is repeated. Okay, Algeria is repeated. Now, next, Tropic of Capricorn. 23.5 degrees, 23 degrees 30 minutes south, which is Tropic of Capricorn. It passes through South America, Africa and Australia. Okay. Tropic of Capricorn passes through Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, Mozambique, Madagascar, Chile, Argentina, then Paraguay and Brazil. Now, Arctic Circle. See here, Arctic Circle passes through North America, Europe and Asia continents. Okay. Now, let's see the countries through which Arctic Circle passes through. Okay. Norway, Sweden, Finland, Russia, USA, that is United States of America, Canada, Greenland and Iceland. Then we have Antarctic Circle, that is 66.5 degrees south. Okay. Antarctic Circle passes through Norway, Sweden, Finland, Russia, USA, that is United States of America. Antarctic Circle passes through Antarctica and Australia continents. Okay, Antarctica and Australia continents. And it passes through Argentina, Chile and UK. If you see here, UK is in the north of the equator, but how Antarctic Circle passes through it? This is the main question. It's because when Antarctic Circle passes through an island which is under the control of UK, that's why we call it as UK. Okay, an island which is under control of UK, through it this Antarctic Circle passes through. Now, if you see, latitudes are 180 and longitudes are 360. Now, out of 180, there are, you see, five important latitudes, and out of 360 longitudes we have one and only important longitude, that is prime meridian, which we call prime meridian. Okay, prime meridian, which is 0 degrees. Okay, 0 degrees. Now, prime meridian is like equator of longitudes. We call equator of longitudes prime meridian. We call it also as Greenwich line, not Greenwich, Greenwich line. Okay. Why? Because it passes through Greenwich, a place in UK. That's why we call it as Greenwich line. Now, prime meridian divides the earth into two equal parts. Now, from prime meridian to this side, if you see, left side of prime meridian we call it as west hemisphere, and right side we call it as east hemisphere. Okay, east hemisphere. Our India is in east hemisphere. Okay, east hemisphere. Now, this is the important longitude. Now, the prime meridian passes through Europe, Africa and Antarctica continents. The prime meridian passes through these countries, that is UK, France, Spain, Algeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, Togo, Ghana, Norway, Greenland, that is Denmark. Okay. Now, these are the. Now, if you see here, now let's discuss about heat zones on the basis of the what you call latitudes. Now, we have discussed about the latitudes and longitudes, important latitudes. Now, if you see heat zones, let's discuss on the basis of these important latitudes. 5 important latitudes what we have discussed about. Okay. Now, let's see them one by one. First, this area which we call between the Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn. This area we call it as, from here Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn, we call it as torrid zone. Torrid zone. Okay. This area, the shaded region. Now, where I shaded, this area is called as torrid zone. Okay, torrid zone. The area between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn is torrid zone. Now why it is torrid zone? Because this area nearly gets direct sunlight. Okay, direct sunlight will be held by this torrid zone area. Okay, suppose there is a sun here, it gives the heat and light, then the direct rays of sunlight falls in this region, that is we call it as torrid zones. Okay, now next, here from Arctic Circle to Tropic of Cancer, Arctic Circle to Tropic of Cancer, which we call it as North Temperate Zone. Okay, North Temperate Zone, North Temperate Zone, and this area between Tropic of Capricorn to Antarctic Circle we call it as South Temperate Zone. Okay, South Temperate Zone. See this temper, which we call combinedly temperate zone, gets the some slanting rays of light. Some, only some, not full slanting, some slanting area, some slanting sunlight and sun rays we get in this temperate zone. Then between North Pole to Arctic Circle, this area, now not shaded region, we call it as North Frozen Zone. And this area between Antarctic Circle to South Pole, which we call it as South Frozen Zone. Okay, South Frozen Zone, or we call this also as frigid zone. Okay, which we call it as frigid zone also. Now this area will get full slanting rays. Full slanting rays. Okay, sometimes what happens here is the sun will not rise in this area, this area and this area, which we call it as polar region also. This region will get only 6 months they get the sunrise, that too not above the horizon, that is below the horizon. They get in the area in this polar region. Okay, now let's see. See, in previous class I have told that there is a link between longitude and time. Now let's discuss that link. Now here, now let's discuss about this. Now let's think this is a map, not exactly, but let's think this darkened line as Greenwich line. Okay, Greenwich line. Okay, let's think as Greenwich line. Okay, let's think this as Greenwich line. Okay, because Greenwich line divides the whole earth into two parts. See, this side it is western hemisphere, this side it is eastern hemisphere. Now here you can see 12 light lines, okay, lightly drawn lines. There are 12 each side. They represent here 12, here 12, 24 hours. Okay. Now we have discussed about longitudes are of 360 longitudes are there. Okay, 360 longitudes are there. Now Greenwich line will not be included in this 360 lines. If you see here, 360 lines will represent the 24 hours. If you see 360 by 24, okay, 360 by 24, you get 15, you get 15. Means, here means 15 longitudes. 15 longitudes will be equals to, you see, 24 hours. Sorry, 1 hour. 15 longitudes will represent 1 hour, then 24 hours will be represented by 360 longitudes. Means here, if these are represented, these are 12 hours, these are 12 hours, totally 24 hours, then each line represents 1 hour. If you see 15 longitudes is 1 hour. Means here the difference between Greenwich line and this line will be 15. Between these two, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. Now how to find the time of a place using these longitudes? Now suppose You see, now this line, let's think this line is 15 degrees. Let's tell that 15 degrees. One longitude will be representing 1 degree. Total 360 degrees. Okay. 15 longitudes are there. 15 longitudes, that is 15 degrees, will be equals to 1 hour. Suppose let's think this as 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Afternoon to 12 o'clock. Okay. Okay. Then that this line will represent the places in this line will represent 12 plus 1. Why 12 plus 12 minus 1? Because it is of west side. If you have west side, you should subtract 1 hour. If your place is in the east side of Greenwich line, you should add 1 hour. Now 12, suppose this is 12 afternoon, that is on the head. The sun is on the head at the place of this Greenwich line. Then this line, this longitude will represent 12 minus 1. Why minus? Because it is of west side. 12 minus 1, that is, this is of 11 a.m. And this line will represent 1 a.m. This line will represent 2 a.m. Why? Here there will be 15 degrees difference. 15 degrees is equals to 1 hour. 1 hour means here for this line you should add 1 hour. 1 a.m., 1 p.m. Here will you get 2 p.m. Here 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m. and 12 p.m. Okay. Here you get 11 a.m., 10 a.m., 9 a.m., 8 a.m., 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m., 1 a.m. and 12 midnight. If you see, you can see here, in this wise we can conclude the time also dependent on longitudes. Okay, that's why longitudes main importance is to find the time. Then you will get a doubt. Suppose there is a place like Russia. You see, Russia is a vast country, the longest area country, the more area covered country, Russia. Then how to tell the time of Russia? See, Russia will be in the place of many longitudes will be passing through Russia. Then what is the time? There will be difference in the time. Then there will be many longitudes passing through them. Then how we can know the time of a place? Then there will be a standard time for each country. Standard time. See, standard time will be for every country. Indian standard time. Indian standard time, which we call IST. Indian standard time. Okay. Indian standard time is of 82.5 degrees east. Means the longitudes, the time of this 82.5 degrees east will be considered all the time in India. Now 82.5 degrees, that means nearly 82.5 degrees will be 5:30. If suppose this is 12 p.m. then we get 5:30 p.m. nearly 5:30 p.m. Okay, I think you understood this very well. Now you see, there are time zones also. Time zones means, suppose this is a time zone. The places under this, the places between these two is considered as a time zone, and this whole zone will get one standard time. Time zones. Okay, time zones. Everything is divided into a time zone. So this is the lesson, globe, longitudes and latitudes. Thank you.